So, hi everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your Friday morning to attend this webinar on the REDCap application. We're so happy that you could join us today. It's nice to see some familiar and new names on this call. My name is Jen Mock. I'm a REDCap database manager with the University of Maryland Baltimore's Institute for Clinical and Translational Research.
And I am Brian Gerald, also a REDCap database administrator here with the UMB ICTR.
Brian and I will be co-presenting today, and we're hoping this presentation will give you an overview of REDCap, highlighting many of the great features, and then we'll also be sharing resources available to support you. We are recording this session and then we will be sending the slides afterwards so you have access to all the information and the links that we'll be sharing and then you can refer back to them at any time. And then we also will have some time for questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free to put your questions in the chat and then we're happy to answer your questions. But we first like to start off with a quick poll just to get some more information on your experience with REDCap. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this. So first, before today's session, have you ever heard of REDCap? And then next, have you ever used REDCap? So this could be like entering data into a project that somebody else has created. And then lastly, have you actually created a project in REDCap yourself? I'll give it a minute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share the results. Okay, so it looks like there's a good mix of answers. So this is really insightful. So we hope that you all gain something out of this presentation, whether regardless of your level of experience with REDCap. And at that, I will pass it over to Brian to get us started.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We can start with the agenda for today. We will be going over what is REDCap, REDCap project design and interface, new features, security and maintenance, and resources and support. So first, we can start with what is REDCap. Here is our famous logo. So REDCap is actually an acronym for Research Electronic Data Capture. It is a secure web-based application for building and managing research and operational databases. REDCap can support both qualitative and quantitative collection, and it can be used for simple survey administration, IRB-approved research projects involving EHR data, or various other use cases involving operational support. So next we can get into the origins of REDCap. So in 2004, Vanderbilt University conducted a needs assessment focused on how researchers were managing their study data. What they found out was that many investigators, especially those working on small to medium-sized studies, needed help managing their data. At this time, many researchers maybe were not following best practices with data security, and those research teams often needed custom programming support to build databases to their tailored needs. To address these gaps, Vanderbilt developed their solution centered on creating project-specific databases supported by web-based data management tools. Sorry. And since 2004, this application has expanded around the world as other institutions receive NIH CTSA funding and recognize its value. REDCap is licensed for free to nonprofits around the world. There is over 4.2 million users worldwide in 164 countries at over 8,000 institutions. As this kind of slide moves away, you'll see a red pin on this globe, and each pin represents an institution or an organization that has at least one instance of REDCap. Some institutions may have one or more, just depending on their cases. So next we can get into the design and interface of REDCap. So first we have the main of REDCap, which is a REDCap project. So the REDCap project is the overall framework where all of your data collection activity takes place. Each project includes built-in tools to help manage your data. And each project contains at least one instrument, which is a form or a survey used to actually collect the data. So before we get into those instruments and forms and such, we can talk about the project lifecycle. So the life cycle is broken down into three main project statuses. So when you first create a project, it would be in development. This is where you actually build your project. You'll create those forms and surveys and thoroughly test your project to confirm everything works as expected. Next, you'll move to production. This is where you're ready to collect the data. So this status provides safeguards to protect your data, allowing you to enter and monitor your data securely. And lastly, when you are finished with data collection, you'll move the project to analysis and cleanup. This preserves the data that was collected, allowing you to create reports and analyze the data. And once the project is completed, like done, you can archive the data in this status or delete the project from REDCap according to the institutional policies. So next, we can get into an example of a data collection instrument. So here we see an example of a demographics form that can be found in REDCap. On the left here, you see first name, last name, phone number, and such. And this in REDCap can basically be our questions when you're building a data collection instrument. And to the right, you see these open text box. That is where you enter your answers technically. So in that first line, first name, I would put Brian, and that is your data collection instrument. So now we can move on to the types of data collection instruments. So an instrument in REDCap can either be one of two. It can be a data entry form or a survey. The main difference between the two is who is actually entering the data. So this is an example of a data entry form. It resembles that same form you just seen 2 slides ago, the demographics. But what's different about this is a team member or a user in REDCap terminology actually logs into REDCap to enter the data. So if you log into your project and you navigate to your form, this is what it would look like if you actually want to input the data manually. And only permitted users have access to this form or page to input the data. So if somebody just randomly logs into REDCap, they won't see your project or they won't see your forms. So this is an example of a survey. A survey is an instrument that is available externally. A participant completes a survey with a survey link. So they are not actually logging into REDCap to enter data, and they can't see other data that has also been entered into the project, maybe via the survey as well. So you would send them a link. You can see from this screenshot here at the top, there is a link. They enter that into their browser and it opens the survey, take the survey and submit it. So next we have the online designer. So this is the spot where we actually build and create our forms and surveys, or also called the data collection instruments. And you can have both data entry forms and surveys within one project. So if you look here on the online designer, these forms on the left with the red outlines, they represent our data entry forms, while the forms with the green outlines represents our surveys, thus proving we can have both data entry forms and surveys in the same project. So you don't need to pick or choose in that category. So next, moving on to our record status dashboard. So the record status dashboard is found in every project, and it provides a visual high-level view of data collection progress across an entire REDCap project. So each row represents a participant or a record, and each column represents a data collection instrument. The dashboard uses color-coded statuses to quickly show whether a form is incomplete, unverified, or complete, making it easy to see some steady progress as you move forward. This view also helps study teams quickly identify what data may be missing or if follow-up may be needed without actually opening the individual record. And what you see here is an example of a record status dashboard that has undergone collection, and there's various form completion statuses. You see green, you see yellow, you see red, and you see gray. When you actually click on the record status dashboard, if you're in REDCap, there is a legend that lets you know what each dot means in the color. Going forward, we have longitudinal data collection. So if you need to collect the same data over multiple time points, you can use longitudinal database design as opposed to the classic where an instrument is collected only one time. So after you enable this feature in your project, you can add specific time points, also called events, to your project. So in this screenshot right here, you kind of see to the left, going down, these are our data collection instruments. So you see demographics, baseline, monthly data, completion data. Going across the top is showing that these instruments are repeated over time. So if you look on the monthly data here, you can see it's checked 3 times for visit 1, visit 2, and visit 3. This makes it so the monthly data collection instrument is used 3 times, so the team doesn't have to recreate that form each time. They can just reuse it. And related to that, we have repeating instruments. So repeating instruments makes it easy to collect ad hoc data when there is no predefined limit on how many times the information may be needed to be collected. This is more useful in situations where participants may have zero, one, or many entries of the same type of data. So instead of creating multiple versions of a form, the same instrument can be completed repeatedly for the same participant. So common examples of this may be medications, adverse events, exposures, or symptoms lists, where you just need to collect it many times, or just 1 time, 2 times, or 5 times. So what this image shows here is a record status dashboard with a red arrow pointing to a gray plus dot. What this is showing us that this person already has a medication form, but if I click that dot, or if I click that plus sign, I can add another medication form. So they may have more medications, they may have less medications, but either or I can use that to basically put how many medication forms I would like for this single participant. And with that, I will pass this over to my colleague, Jim Malk, to talk about the REDCap surveys.
Thanks, Brian. So REDCap supports both public and private surveys, and the choice on which to use depends on whether responses need to be anonymous or linked to a specific participant. So public surveys are a single link or QR code for a link, which is always linked to the first form in a project. This one link can be shared with and completed by all participants, and responses collected with a public survey are anonymous if no identifying information is captured within the survey itself. So this link can be posted on a website, shared on a flyer, or distributed in an email to be sent to a group of individuals to complete. And then private surveys generate a unique link for each survey, and they can only be completed once. So these links are tied directly to an individual participant record in the project. And because of this linkage, REDCap allows you to track survey completion and know which participant submitted each response. So this next slide outlines the 3 main ways private surveys can be distributed. So the compose invitation from a participant record feature can be used to send a single link for one participant in the project. The participant list allows surveys to be sent to multiple participants or in bulk at once and can be anonymous if the survey does not collect identifying information. Invitations are manually composed and sent to a selected list. And then lastly, the automated survey invitation feature allows for surveys to be sent or scheduled to send automatically based on specific conditions in the project. So this could be the completion of a previous survey or when logic becomes true for a participant. So this helps reduce manual effort and ensures consistency. So you might want to use this to send follow-up surveys at your designated time point so you don't have to manually go into the projects and send these yourself. We also wanted to highlight the REDCap's e-consent framework, which works with the PDF snapshot feature. And this is helpful in replacing traditional paper consenting with a secure digital process. Consent forms can be completed either in person or remotely using a computer, tablet, or smartphone. And then when the e-consent feature is enabled for a survey, participants are required to review and certify an inline PDF of their response before the consent is marked as finished. And then after submission, REDCap will automatically store a PDF of the consent in the project's file repository, so you don't need to download these consents individually. And then recently, REDCap made multi-form consents available, which allows forms to be combined into a single PDF for a participant, which is helpful if multiple team members are signing a consent, such as a participant, witness, and a study team member. So we're now going to go over applications, which are features available within REDCap. We don't have time to go through them all today, but we're just going to highlight a few of the great ones available. And the first one is the alerts and notification feature. We use this a lot in our projects. I know the ICTR projects. This is a favorite amongst these projects as well. But this allows you to send customized notifications through either an email or text. If text messaging does require a connection to either Twilio or Mozio, but notifications allow you to send custom notifications directly from a project. These are very flexible in terms of recipients. You can send them to survey participants, members of the project or study team, or even individuals who do not have access to the project itself. Messages can be sent to a single recipient or multiple recipients. And then each notification can include custom text, links to surveys, or file attachments if needed. And then these notifications are set to can be set up to automatically send based on a form being saved or when a specific logic becomes true for a record. So an important use case is safety monitoring. So if a participant answers a survey question in a way that indicates a concern, the system can automatically notify the appropriate study team member. So this is really helpful ensuring that responses are reviewed quickly without relying on manually monitoring the project. So we'll now move on to randomization. Randomization is commonly used in clinical research and trials to ensure that participants are assigned to groups in an unbiased way, such as treatment and control groups. REDCap includes a built-in randomization module that allows you to randomize subjects directly within your project. And it will also track the overall progress of randomization, so including how many allocations you've used, how many remain unused, and then how many participants have been assigned to a specific group. And this past year, the randomization module was enhanced to support multiple randomizations in a project, as well as blinded randomization support. So with multiple randomizations, you can have more than one model within a single project. And with blinded support, you can now create a model that's concealed from your project team members, which is accomplished with a randomization number instead of a group assignment. REDCap includes several built-in tools to help improve accuracy and consistency during data entry. Data validation ensures that values are entered in the correct format. So this helps prevent common errors such as incorrectly formatted email addresses, phone numbers, zip codes, and numeric fields. And there's also minimum and maximum limits. So these can be set on numeric or even date fields to flag values that fall outside of a defined range. So when a value falls outside of the range, REDCap alerts the person entering data, prompting them to review and confirm or correct the entry. You also have the option to enforce these limits so data cannot be entered outside of this range. And then the data quality application allows you to run built-in or custom checks across the project to identify potential data discrepancies. So these rules can help find missing values, inconsistent entries, or update calculated values across fields in the project. We also wanted to highlight the data access groups feature. This feature allows you to restrict data that project team members can see and work with inside of a REDCap project. So this image here shows the data access groups settings in an example project with 3 DAGs for UMB, UMCP, and UMS. And there's one project team member assigned to each group. So project team members assigned to a specific group can only create, view, and export data that belongs to their group, and they cannot see data entered by the other groups. So this is particularly useful for multi-site studies where each site should have only have access to its own participants. And it also allows all sites to use one single REDCap project while still maintaining that clear separation of data. So REDCap will allow you to add project team members with only the minimum necessary rights to perform their role on a project with the user rights application. User rights control which applications and features each team member can access. So these privileges include access to user rights management, project design, randomization, and other applications. Also, the ability to create, rename, and delete existing records. You can set view access at the instrument level, allowing no access, read only, delete, or full view access. And then export rights are also defined by instrument, allowing no export rights, access to only download de-identified data or the full data set. So these are controls allow project managers to tailor access carefully, maintain data security, and then meet regulatory requirements. REDCap will also allow you to add project team members using predefined user rights, which are also known as user roles. So a role is a saved set of permissions that defines what a team member can access and do within the project. So instead of assigning permissions individually for each team member, you can create a role and automatically apply the same rights to all team members in the role. So this is especially helpful when adding large groups of users who all need the same level of access. And this image here just shows an example project of the user rights application with one team member unassigned with custom rights, and then 3 project team members assigned to predefined roles for data entry and project manager. So these can be adjusted if needed, but are really helpful with maintaining standardized access controls. If you need to audit your project, the REDCap logging page provides a complete audit trail of activity. This application lists all changes made to the project, including data changes of adding, modifying, or deleting records. It also tracks data exports, including who exported data and the date and time of the export. The log captures user management activity and other project changes. You can filter the log by type of activity, username for a specific project team member, record number, and date range. So overall, this helps ensure transparency and data integrity throughout the project lifecycle. And this image is an example project where actions of creating a record and project design recently occurred. And for our last slide on REDCap applications, we wanted to highlight 2 apps that you can download and connect to REDCap. So the mobile app allows project team members to collect data directly on their mobile devices, even when they do not have an internet connection. So this is especially helpful for field work or environments with limited or unreliable internet connectivity. So once an internet connection becomes available, data can be synced back to the project. And then MyCap is a participant-facing mobile app designed specifically for collecting data from study participants. It simplifies data collection for iOS and Android devices, making it easy for participants to complete routine surveys or tasks with notifications to their device. So like the mobile app, MyCap supports offline data collection. Any data collected by participants is automatically synced back to a project once an internet connection is made available. So we'll now move on to viewing and analyzing data. There are several levels at which you can view data in REDCap. You can view it at an individual level, as a whole, or as a subset. So this image here is the view of a record that has data entered in it. It shows baseline measurements for one study participant in this example project. So it has answers completed for all measurements, and then all the measurements shown here, and then it's marked as completed. So if a team member has view access, this is how the data would look for one instrument. If you just want to see a subset of data within your project, you can do that by creating a custom report. Reporting allows you to narrow in on which questions or fields you want to see and apply filters to limit the results. So this could be only enrolled or consented subjects, or in this image, an example report is filtered by female participants with only 4 records meeting the criteria to be included in the report. The rows going down each represent a record, and the columns going across each represent a question or field included in your report. And then exporting is very easy. You can export data into Excel in a CSV file or with other statistical software packages, including SAS, SPSS, R, and Stata. So this is where you can also define if you want to export de-identified data or the full data set if you have the appropriate export rights. And this image shows the full list of options for exporting with the option to choose your preferred export format and then the de-identification and other formatting options. So we'll just ask that you please keep in mind that you must follow institutional requirements to export data to a secure location. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Brian. Nope, I think you're muted.
I, I am muted. There was some noise out in the hallway. All right, yeah, so we'll get started on the new features. This is actually a feature with many features, or I guess three features that we're going to talk about. So we have the new AI features. So we would like to highlight new AI powered features in REDCap that were made available in UMB REDCap this past year. So first we have the AI writing tools, which allows you to enter a prompt to generate new text or wordsmith existing text, which is useful for survey questions, instructions, and invitations. So if you want to tell the prompt to make it sound some type of way, you can definitely do that within REDCap now. We also have AI translations, which can quick AI translations can help you quickly translate instruments, allowing greater support for multilingual studies. So the text appears in a participant's desired language. So if they need to see it in Spanish or French, the AI translations can do that as well. And this integrates with REDCap's multi-language management feature. And we have a guide on this in our resources if you are interested. And lastly, but not least, we have the summarization feature, which allows you to summarize free text fields across records and quickly get an overview of responses. So say if you have 100 survey responses and one of those fields is free text, the AI would summarize those 100 responses into one. And next, we're moving to the security and maintenance of UMB REDCap. So some of the features that we reviewed today, such as data validations, the audit trails or login, the user privileges, the de-identified data exports, all these features help make REDCap HIPAA compliant. And moving along with that, the application also uses secure institution-supported login methods. So the user sign in using Shibboleth at UMB and UMCP, that is an authentication method, using their existing institutional credentials. So this makes it where you don't have to remember another username or password for REDCap. You can use what you already got at the institution. REDCap is also protected by the institution's security infrastructure, including our firewalls, network monitoring, and access controls. We also have a few additional safeguards in place as well, such as two-factor authentication is required through Duo for an extra layer of security. If you're at either institution, I'll show you have Duo. Sessions automatically log you out after about 30 minutes of inactivity. So if you're not doing any work on the screen for 30 minutes, it will log you out. It gives you a warning about 5 minutes before that. And also accounts are suspended after 180 days of inactivity to help keep things up to date. Next, we can move to the data security and storage. So we do support UM's Epic data collection if that is in your realm, but please keep in mind that still needs to approve any use of Epic data along with the IRB. All data in REDCap is stored within the institution, so it stays within the institutional environment. By default, there is no external data transmission. What this means is that data only leaves the system if a user intentionally export or removes it. Other than that, data will stay there. Structured data is stored in a MySQL database, which helps keep things organized, reliable, and easy to manage for us. And for files and other unstructured data, we use Azure Blob Storage, which is a secure and scalable cloud storage solution. So if you have participants uploading things like forms or pictures, that's where this is saved at in our Azure Blob Storage, which is secure. Moving on to maintenance and upgrades. So we have routine and ongoing maintenance system upgrades scheduled for every last Friday of the month between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Eastern. We actually did one this morning. And we also have automated backups. So the system performs automated point-in-time backups using Azure Cloud Infrastructure. So what this technically means is that we are always backing up 24/7. Even as we speak now, our databases and web servers are being backed up. And what that helps us with is our backup retention and recovery. Our backups are retained for 35 days with the ability to restore at any time point within that window. So if there's any hiccup, say today, we can restore to the time point a couple seconds before that hiccup. So this offers us a more robust data protection and recovery option just in case. And we also got to mention that we have new features added biannually. So every 6 months, new features are added to REDCap, but we will alert those features to the users and offer any assistance with using those as well. Moving on to the new UMB secure research environment. So projects that involve patient medical data, including the Epic data, require the use of the UMB secure research environment for data analysis. So the UMB SRE is a secure virtual desktop designed specifically to protect sensitive and restricted research data. Now, we do have a REDCap instance that's available within the SRE to support this requirement. So if you do have this type of project with this type of data, don't worry, we do have a REDCap for that. This environment or this desktop is managed by the UMB6, the Center of Information Technology Services, IT support team. And of course, the REDCap team can be here to help with access as well. And with that, let's pass this back over to Jen.
Okay, thanks, Brian. So we'll now review the UMB ICTR REDCap resources and support that are available to you. So to access REDCap, you can go to the UMB REDCap link, which is umbredcap.umaryland.edu, and then you'll log in with your College Park credentials. So this is your UMD directory ID. You don't need to remember another username or password. And then you can create a new project by clicking on the green New Project button at the top of the home page. By default, any project you create is private. After you create a project, you can add project team members that you'll be working with by assigning them the appropriate user rights or role to assist. And then this image here is the New Project button on the REDCap homepage to get you started. So REDCap is designed to be a self-service platform which empowers researchers to build and manage their own projects. So to support this, a wide range of training videos, FAQs, and guidance materials are available directly within the REDCap application. So this image shows the homepage where you can access the help and FAQ and training videos available. And then additional resources, including FAQs, best practices. We have new accessibility guidance, and then user guides are available on the UMB ICTR REDCap website. And then we plan to create more content and add more resources, so please check back for updates. So our team is available for consultations, training, and support. We're here to help you at any stage of your project's development or management. And then you can email us directly at redcap@umaryland.edu for assistance. We're also pleased to inform you that we host office hours every Wednesday at 1 p.m. So this is a great time to pop in, ask us any questions about how to use REDCap or specific questions related to a project you're designing. And then you can also learn from others working in REDCap. So we've included this link in the presentation, which we'll share with you all, but we also have this link posted on the REDCap homepage for easy access. So we hope to see you all there. And then with that, that is the end of our presentation today. So we hope you found it helpful. We're happy to answer any questions at this time.